Hey everyone, Long here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm going to talk about one of Canon's newest camera, the Canon R5. If you're a camera enthusiast, you know this is one of the hottest cameras to come out this year, figuratively and literally. I'm not a tech reviewer. There's plenty of great tech reviewers out there reviewing this camera that do the deep dives and the tech specs. I recommend you checking those out. What I'm here to learn is this the right camera for me and does it work? I've had the R5 for about a month and a half now, and I'm only focusing on the photography aspect of the camera. The 6 things I've evaluated over this short amount of time is the autofocus, the electronic and mechanical shutter, does it work with strobes, adaptability, durability, and the quality of the image. With no rampage this year to test out the camera, I was able to test it out with my girlfriend while we went on bike rides, and my good buddy Marshall Moore and I went up to Washington to shoot at a bike park called North Slope. We're here in Central Washington. Does it be Central Washington? We're here in Washington with Marshall. Marshall right here. Worked together for a long time. Here to test out the new Canon R5. Thanks to the friends of Capital Forest. We're here using their trail network to test out the camera. And hopefully we get some good stuff. Excited to try out the new R5. Currently filming on the R6. Maybe I'll make another video like this with this camera, but for now, we're here to see how this camera's gonna work out. Double this, or could you? I can get on.
Whoa, that looks so sick. Oh, that's cool. Are we like done?
I think we're done.
Okay.
Those are basically what I wanted to shoot. Well, that's a wrap for Marshall and I. Had a blast shooting. Really excited to check out all the photos on the computer. No better way to end on the water and Marshall cooling down. And let's go back to the computer and check it out. Let's talk about the autofocus. Overall, pretty freaking awesome. Way better than my old camera. When the R5 locks onto the subject, it's able to track the subject all the way through the action, no problem. When doing eye detection, it made portraits a lot easier. Even if the subject had a half shield, it would still pick up the eye. And if it didn't pick up the eye, it would at least knew where the head was. Made shooting portraits a whole lot easier. But every now and then when shooting action, my R5 would have an issue of not picking up the subject, and it won't fire and I'll miss the whole shot. My buddy Garth Mylan and I experienced this a few times while shooting, but we weren't able to replicate this, and I'm not really sure why. But to help combat this issue, I just make sure to pre-focus more often while shooting action. I also make sure not to let go if I'm back button focusing. I felt this help with the focusing. It made it easier to capture peak action, whether I'm shooting with ambient light or with strobes. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the mechanical and electronic shutter. Right when I got the camera, I naturally put it into mechanical shutter because that's what I'm used to. It has very minimal blackout. The only issue I really had was when I was panning and tracking shots, I would tend to lose the subject towards the end. The reasoning, I think, is when I'm moving so quickly, the ibis is moving and trying to counter me and stabilize while getting disoriented in the EVF. And when I tried it on electronic shutter, it definitely helped, but you could definitely see the ibis moving around and I would still lose the shot. But apparently Canon did release a new firmware a couple days ago that's supposed to help with this issue, but I have yet to try it out. I didn't notice any banding when shooting electronic shutter, so I'm indifferent between shooting mechanical and electronic shutter. It just depends on how many frames I'm gonna need. The only real issue I had with shooting electronic shutter is taking too many photos. The outer box of the EVF does flicker to let you know that you're taking photos, but when I'm focused on shooting action, I don't really notice it. So I'll just be holding the shutter and taking a million photos, and I didn't realize it until I look in the back of the camera chimping away that I realized I took 100,000,000 photos of the same shot. But it's just something I get used to. It's still great to have that option to shoot mechanical or electronic. And now on to strobes. Of course, I need to make sure that the R5 works with my Elinchom system. And luckily, it works perfectly fine. I have the ELB 1200 and 2 ELB 400s. I use a Skyport to trigger my R5 to my system. And luckily, I had no issues with using them while out in the field when testing with Marshall. If you are a Canon and Elinchom user, you have to set your ODS, and the Hypersync ODS that I have it at with the Elinchom is 1.8. Also, you need to turn off exposure simulation when using flash. And to do this, hit the menu, make sure you're on the red menu, go to the tab number 7, hit exposure simulation, scroll down to disable, and press set. This will allow you to make camera setting changes and it won't affect your EVF. If you're shooting in low light situation, the EVF will auto expose so you can still see, but won't change your camera settings. Adaptability. What I mean by this is how long it'll take me to get used to the camera. The camera is a little bit smaller than a 1D body, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. The only real issue I had initially was just button placement and getting used to where things were, but I quickly got used to that. The menu system's just like other Canon system, very easy to use, straightforward. I don't think many people will have any issues switching from DSLR to mirrorless if they're using a Canon system. Unfortunately, being an action sports photographer, gear's just gonna get wrecked. And a month and a half, I haven't really put it to the full test yet, and it just really isn't long enough to really test how strong the camera is. Only time will tell. The camera is made from plastic, where previous DSLR cameras are made from magnesium. I'm sure Canon wouldn't have made the switch if they didn't think it was gonna last, but only time will tell. And the last thing is image quality. And to tell you, it really didn't disappoint. I can instantly tell a difference. The dynamic range and the low light capability is even better than my last camera. Here are a few images I shot with the 1DX Mark II and the R5. The images are shot at different times of the year, but the lighting is similar, same location, similar action. The quality of the image is amazing, especially when I really zoom in. Everything looks crispy and sharp. Other than that, I don't have much to say about the image quality besides simply amazing. When using it in Lightroom, I didn't have any issues or photo mechanic. Just make sure your softwares are up to date. Well, that's my review of the Canon R5. I've been lucky enough to try different brands of mirrorless cameras, and it just never sold me. I was even a Sony user and never loved the camera. It did its job, the files were okay, but like I said, it was just never enough for me to make the full switch. As expected with the new camera, there are some things here and there to get used to, but overall, I'm really happy that I waited till now to make the switch to mirrorless. It performed great shooting with my girlfriend and Marshall, but it also performed fantastic on a recent commercial shoot that I can't really talk much about. Overall, I'm really pumped on this guy. I can't wait to use it on more shoots. If the R5 is already this sweet, I can't wait to see what Canon does on their rumored flagship R1. If you guys have any comments or questions, please add them in the comment section below. If you're curious about all the gear that I use, I'll make sure to link that in the descriptions as well. And if you guys like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And on the water, and Marshall cooling down. And let's go back to the computer and check it out.
Oh my God, Washington, water is cold. Smell like Malibu. Long, where's the towel?